Okay, boys and girls, back again for another neck adventure. First I would like to show you this. This is a back from a guitar my youngest daughter is working on. And it's such a beautiful piece of macacaube. I just wanted to show you. And by the bending over here, you can see my daughter is making a guitar with a cutaway in it. And here is the neck she's making, reinforced with ebony. Going to be a strong neck, and I've put it here to make some things clear to you about how to attack this heel to get the form in, because on our heel I already started. Now for the heel, you can make them round. That's the most easiest way to do it. You can make it pointy, but rather broad, pointy. And this one has a rather deep curve in here. And I made it so it's more easier to keep here if you want access rather deep on the guitar. And over here we have the typical classical heel. If you see it from the side, you see the curve is in and it's going up a little bit. And it's rather pointy and narrow. Now the heel I want to make on our parlor will be between this one and this one. And I've already started on it. Just can't wait. I'm a rather hasty person, and that's something that I should be very, very wary of. So I learned myself, if something doesn't go quite the way I want to, I put it down, I walk away. I'm going to do something else, I'm going to think about it, and maybe the next day or a day after I continue and try to find a solution. Sometimes I make mistakes. Do you make mistakes, Bert? Yes, I make mistakes. I make a lot of mistakes. And then I have to find a solution. 95% are not dramatic. You can solve them. But I have to take my time then. That's just the way I am. Good. I started on this one. What did I do? I made the incisions here and here where the sides will come in. I don't make them straight on the 12th fret line, but I follow the curve of the top because I want them to have that nice rounding also when it's coming in. The inside part, everything here, is rather easy. I only round up all these edges, and this one I will go down a little bit because that looks nice. Make it a little bit rounding to the inside, and here I'll make a little curve in it, so it will go here and then down, just for the look of it. I'm going to sand it thoroughly, because if someone looks into the guitar, I want them to see that also on the inside we put all the knowledge and all the work to make a very nice clean guitar all the way. Now this is difficult, especially when you're making a guitar for someone and he says, well, I want a heel in that and that particular shape. That's difficult to make. The advantage we have is, well, we're shaping the heel, and on one side something goes a little bit wrong, well, we'll correct it and correct it on the other side, because if it's like this or a little bit broader or a little bit narrow, more narrow, that's no problem. Not too narrow, because the sides still have to fit in. I went till about here, but later on I'll take my bandsaw and I'll make it deeper. Then I will take out this part, and when we taken that out, I'm going to put the sides in, and then I'm going to make a block which will fit exactly in between, and that's the way I'm going to glue it. It gives a very nice structure. What you also can do is make this a little bit wider, especially when you do it by hand and you have a rather rough saw. The cut might even be deep enough. Your sides are 2 millimeters, so it needs a slot of 2 millimeters, and you don't have to work with the wedge the way I'm going to do it. You can also make this 2 millimeters and it will fit in. A lot of glue with it, and it will be very stiff. That's 2 ways to do it, or with a wedge, or this cut 2 millimeters and just clamp it in with a lot of glue, of course. Okay, I'll take my daughter's neck, not her neck, her guitar neck, and I'll show you how I start. This is my 12th fret, so this is outside, small heel, this is all inside. The inside, I don't worry, we'll work on that later on, is no problem. The outside, that's difficult. I find it very difficult to do it, to get it smoothly and all balanced. What I do first, I make a drawing of the heel I want to make. For example, I want to make this pointy heel. That means that this part can fall off and that part can fall off. And as you might have seen on this one, I took off the excess on my second line and I leave the first line, because we're going to work to that when the fretboard is on. Only for the piece by the heel here, I scrape it away to just near the line, but I still want to see the line, and I only have a few tenths of millimeters I have to adjust when the fretboard is on, and I want to make it as narrow as possible here. That gives me a better view if everything is in balance. So you see, I marked out this area, took away this part, and I go towards these ends in the beginning. So a little bit deeper here and very narrow there, because I want that shape in it. As you can see, here it's almost as wide as the fretboard itself, and after we finished it will be exactly the same as the fretboard. And I want it wide here because I need a good, for the form, and I also need a good grip. When I put the sides in, it will have just a few millimeters grip over here, and then more and more and more. That will make it very stable. So that's what I did so far. I will show you the material I work with. Get up for a moment. This is what I work with. A heavy chisel for the hard work in the beginning, and then one also rather wide, 16 millimeters, but I made it very sharp, and you can make very little moves with it. Then two things I like to work with. I believe it's called a rasp. This is a flat one, and this a rasp, very handy round one, to make the round curves after I chisel. I go further on with this, and when that's done, I go to my sanding paper. In this case, I've got 240 grit, and this is really sanding paper that is meant for metal, but I find out it works beautifully on wood. And I've got very rough 80 grit, also sanding paper meant for metal. It works on wood. Very good, takes off a lot, really cuts through the wood. So after rasping, I take the sanding paper and try to get it all smooth. And last but not least, I've got this spokesplane, which I use especially for the sides of the neck. For bringing in these sides towards the fretboard. Just leave a, oh, the camera is not too good, just leave a little stripe so I know my fretboard. Got an example here. It's a bit wider fretboard, it's from a classical guitar. It's 52 at the nut and 61 at the 12th. Well, mine will be 48 to 60. But here, you get the idea. This is how it's going to work. And you can see where the sides come in. And it's getting its shape slowly. But I will be working many more evenings on this heel, because I'm doing it very slow, very careful. And hopefully in the end I'll have a nice balanced heel. Okay, so far it's done now. I will also work on the inside part, make it all rounded, smooth it up. I'll show you next time. Bye bye.